Welcome back to the halftime show on the PAC Sports Network, and we're joined now by Geneva women's basketball coach Michael Grinder. And Coach, first off, thanks so much for taking the time today.
Well, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And Coach, Geneva looking to build off its best season in over a decade, winning 10 games last year. The 10th victory of the campaign a season ago was a 76-73 win over Franciscan in the first round of the PAC tournament. So first PAC tournament win for the Geneva program since joining the conference. In what ways can the Golden Tornadoes build off of last year's success this season?
I think main thing we're looking to do this year is because the next marker for us is to get to 500. We have not been 500 since I think like '07, like '06, '07. So that's the biggest. That's the next point to get to. And that's sort of what we talked about coming in. Like the next step is 500. Once you get to 500, now you can sort of push to go where you want to go to next instead of like, oh, we want to play here. We want to be like top four. Like goals 500, just improve. Like in each year I've been here, we've taken steps to improve. So from year one to now, like we've taken the steps.
And looking at your non-conference schedule, obviously we're in conference play now, but your non-conference schedule, the team traveled to Holland, Michigan to play Hope College, the reigning Division III national champions, facing the top talent in the country at one of the best Division III venues in the country. What was that trip like for the team, and in what ways do you hope that they're able to take some of the moments from that trip and build with that?
Moving forward, the hope was that they would like learn, not just learn that, where we're at, but to see like, okay, this is what the upper side of Division III looks like. This is what the teams are like out here, and gain, knowledge of what it's going to take if you get to this stage to play at this level, even in the postseason. Like you've seen some of these teams, so you're not like, oh, we haven't seen a Hope. Okay, we've played against Hope. We know what they are. They are arguably the team in the country at our level right now. As we saw, who was it? Concordia, Wisconsin. The next game around, we had our chances. I mean, I think they were picked to be third or fourth in their conference. Big team, physical, and we learned a lot out there. And I mean, the venue's great. It's fun to play in, and you don't get those venues in the pack. Like you don't have like a 5,000 seat like arena when you walk into it, but it's just fun. Good atmosphere, good competition, and I'm hoping as we play, like we started out with Mount Union. We go to Holland. I think we have CMU before like breaks over. I'm hoping like the non-conference games help pay dividends in like January and February for us when we get into like the chunk of like conference play.
And conference play already underway, of course, as you said, the chunk of it in January and February, but conference game tonight. And as we look at some of your individuals on this year's squad, the Tornadoes with two seniors, including Isabella Roth and Tess Liggett, a transfer out of Point Park. She's been with the team a number of years now. How do those two players help lead the team?
Isabella's helped because she's been here since I've gotten here. Vocal, pretty charismatic person. She can. I always tell them like, you can shoot us into a game or you can shoot us out of it, but hopefully you're going to shoot us into it. But she works hard for us. Good leader in the locker room, outside of the locker room, does a lot of good things for us, personnel wise with the ladies. Tess is more of a quiet leader, just does stuff by example. Obviously, second year here, she had a knee injury, and hopefully we're going to see a little bit more this year out of her than last year because ACL can take upwards to a year to come back from it. So hopefully as this season progresses, we see more and more from her, like what we had before the injury, because she was athletic, she rebounded the ball well, she could do some stuff, and but she's quiet. Like it's a good balance between the two.
And the team's been banged up a little bit, but
Oh
getting
yeah.
healthier as time progresses. Sophomore Taylor Herring, who missed most of last season due to injury, she's back, averaging around 11 points per game. How much of a boost is it to have Taylor back?
It's been good. We thought it was going to take her a little longer, obviously, but she jumped right back in and started playing with no, mental, people come off those knee injuries and they have like mental things like, oh, they cut wrong and they feel pain and then they don't want to play the rest of the game. And she's just played the whole way. She's taken a few hard falls and tumbles and bounced back up and started playing. It's been good to see the production coming that we had last year from her.
Junior Mia San Nicolas, a product out of Guam, and now in year two with Geneva, the team leader in scoring and rebounding. How much has San Nicolas adapted to NCAA basketball in her second year in the PAC now?
It's helped her. The 2 years out in the NWAC definitely helped her because the competition out there is totally different from like a Division three. She's also adjusted well to what we do, and we're getting her to hopefully um, spread out a little bit more and do a little bit more as a big, because obviously you can see she's an athlete. She can post up well, runs the floor well. Now we just need her to shoot the ball every now and then for us when she's open instead of posting up. But no, she's been a huge help. Everything I saw of her on film a couple of years ago, playing in the Asian, Asia qualifies for something. I was like, that's the player I'll eventually get. And that's what's showing up here. So it's been a huge blessing for us.
And a pair of newcomers to the roster, sophomore Mackenzie Barricklow, a transfer from Malone, and Maddie Matthews, a freshman from Heartland Christian High School in Ohio. What have those two players added to the roster?
Mackenzie's been a good surprise. Took a year off after 1 year at Malone. She's getting back into it. She's versatile, can play different positions, shoots the ball well. And Maddie's been really helpful as a freshman coming in, just sort of took off as soon as she came into the lineup. Whether we've brought her off the bench or started her, she's helped us either way. And I mean, as you know, you're starting young kids, which we've got quite a few rolling through the lineup right now. She's had her gains of adjustment, but it's coming along for her. So
And a young lady who set the school single season record in steals, Cynthia Stewart. She had 98 thefts last year. She'll be back for the second half of the schedule starting in January. What can you tell us about her? And obviously, what she brings to the team defensively, just phenomenal anticipatory skills.
yeah, she changes the whole dynamic of a lot of things when you have her on the floor, especially the last 2 years. I mean, what was it? The COVID year. She led the conference in steals then, and then last year she did it again. Um, Anticipates really well defensively, passing lanes, on ball defense. Offense is starting to catch up to the defensive side, hopefully more so in the second half of the season when we get her back. But what I'm anticipating when she gets back, she just gives a little more jump to what we're doing. And with all the injuries we've had out of the gate, it'll be nice to like getting her and getting some healthy bodies back here as we like get through December into January.
Now, our coverage here today on the PAC Sports Network, my understanding, this is actually the first home game for the Geneva women's
Yeah.
basketball team because of a boiler issue at the Matheny Fieldhouse. So how nice will it be today? And again, this is pre-recorded, but at the half, how nice will it be to finally play a regular season home game today?
Oh, it'll be great. I mean, finally to get home, I feel like we've been on the road forever, like the San Antonio Spurs when they take the rodeo trip in February every year. It wears on you because I mean the Hope tournament was the Hope tournament. You're playing pretty much at like a neutral site for 2 games. I know Hope's at home, but it's neutral for us. And then you're on the road, like you're expecting to get home games, and you have to cancel them because of boiler. And eventually, with a young team, I keep telling them like you're gonna have to pick up some road wins because we're not playing too good right now on the road. But getting home is always a good thing because you have that home court advantage. As you know, Matheny Fieldhouse is not the easiest place to come in and play sometimes when you're a road team.
Indeed. And, looking forward, obviously still very early in the season, but as you talked about earlier on, the team has progressed each year under your tutelage. What are you looking to see from the team this year? You won a PAC tournament game last year. What does it take to go deeper and make a run in the PAC tournament?
One of the biggest things is with us, I think, is getting the belief there. Like we won one last year. Obviously, it was a home game. We went up to Westminster after that, who we split with last season, and we just didn't get off to a good start up there. And that's been a big issue for us on the road. Is I think if we are like a lower seed going into the tournament, who knows? We might be a higher seed. You never know. Come January, February. But we've got to get off to a better start on road games. It's just been what we've done the last 2 years, and hopefully we start working out of it. And I think the main thing, if you're going to make a run in any postseason thing, you got to be clicking and you got to have everybody healthy. I mean, you're going to be banged up, but you still have to have your pieces there that are healthy, like your key pieces. But yeah, I mean, we're there, and a 1-5 start, but it's always good to start at home. Maybe get the ball rolling a little bit more, and bodies are coming in. We're starting to get like in sync a little bit more offensively, which has been lacking. But yeah, I think we can get it going. And who knows? January and February would be interesting to see where we're at because it is a long year, 25 games. So
Indeed, and just the tip of the iceberg at this
Yeah.
point. But before we know it, it always seems like the season moves so fast. We'll be in February before we know it. But nonetheless, head coach Michael Grinder of the Geneva Golden Tornadoes. Coach, thanks so much for your time, and good luck to you and the team moving forward.
Thanks for having me, Randy. It's always fun.
We'll have the second half of today's game when we come back in just a moment.